Perfect. Welcome, Tyhson. Welcome, everyone. I believe we're going to have a few more people with us, and just want to welcome people to Radical Earth Heart Resonance here in the connection field. Where I love what Jose says in the morning fire, if you've never been there, where nobody gets programmed, everyone just gets unconditional love. And this is a place that we come together, a safe, inclusive space all day long, from usually 6 a.m. Pacific to, about 10 o'clock Pacific, almost midnight Eastern, all day long in the connection field. And we welcome those of you on Facebook who are coming tonight. Yes, we are Facebook Live. And if that is an issue, you can put yourself on mute and I'll be right back there. But simply just letting people know they can come to connectionfielddigest.org as a direct link, where we tonight, beautiful, you can see some of our brothers and sisters here in the connection field, where we come together with sacred evolutionary Dowsers, myself and Tyhson Banighen and Charlie Riverman. We come here every week on Tuesday nights inside of the connection field, and we invite you to come and join us. That this is a place where we are really reestablishing wholeness, and within ourselves, on the earth, with the cosmos, reestablishing resonance, really coming from that place of aligning the frequency with the higher frequencies. That if you are about to hear this beautiful gong, just invite you into really feeling that this experience that we've been experiencing inside and outside of us, this global pause, what people have called a pandemic, is really an opportunity for us to come into greater love with each other, come into greater connection with each other. And we're doing that here and adding this other piece of let's really start to play. We've been playing with Imani's land in Swannanoa, North Carolina. And we also have the opportunity to really take a look and feel into this web of love, this web of light, as planetary healers and alchemists and dowsers and whatever else we are, just to play, to listen and be mentored by the field. So we have a lot of fun here on Tuesday nights. We invite you, and let's begin tonight. Tice, do you want to say hello? Charlie, you want to say hello first, and then we're going to open up with this beautiful gong.
Good night, evening, everybody. At least it's evening here in my world, on the Pacific, on the west coast of North America. My sacred mountain is Mount Ida. The river that flows past my door is actually Shuswap Lake. It's a great honor to be with you again tonight. Looking forward to what is emerging in the field. That's it.
Okay, I think there we go.
The watershed in Maine, and I bring you my blessings of peace, light, and love, and the amazing energies of Mother Earth, whose heart beats through us all. So it's a pleasure to be with you all, and with Tyhson. I always enjoy.
And I'm Shelley Darling. I'm here now in Portland, Oregon, the Columbia Slough watershed, experiencing the exquisite beauty of a tiny house community. So, in which this land we have worked on. It's part of the grid that we're working on. We'll talk more about that as we get in. So, Imani, we would love, love, love for you to bring that drum resonance into our feet and into the land where we all are. Thank you. Thank you, Amani. So let's just take a breath, because we always start all the calls in the connection field with a resonant attunement, an attunement that continues that vibratory frequency of that drum. And so just invite everyone to let go of mass consciousness for this time while we're here. To just simply take a few cleansing breaths, that today is the day of the Condor in the Mayan calendar. That energy of releasing, clearing, cleansing, so that we can align in greater harmony, peace, light, and love. And so we start this evening just taking a few breaths and feeling this community, this unity within this circle, within our own hearts. Just as Imani was moving that energy, in that spiralic energy, that spiral of energy, we too are opening to receive, softening our bodies, allowing what is static to allow it to move. So we're going to invite you just to move your body a little bit. Noticing that you can take a deeper breath. And as we take a deeper breath, we're allowing greater spaciousness for information and energy to come in. And as we sit a little deeper in this liquicious environment, we honor the ancestors from all directions. We honor the elementals that are always informing us with delight, presencing ourselves with the angels and archangels and all of our guides here tonight that are here for the highest good of the whole. We can release any of those other ones. Just take another breath. And we invite this beautiful circle of angels and archangels. And we invite and open to and acknowledge the field itself, the DNA of the living Akash that brings us all to the evolutionary edge of consciousness, where that right actioning takes place because we are attuned to the whispering spirit of wholeness. Just breathe that in for a moment. What is that? Acknowledging this frequency. This energy that unto itself is always naturally reorganizing, recalibrating into its highest potential. That we be. And we are this. And we hold this in this circle tonight. There is no separation. When we're breathing in the full creative impulse as it's emerging. And with that, we recognize and really call in the beautiful frequencies of light to enliven our cellular structure, to arise, to invigorate. And lastly, for tonight, this piece of the vitality code where every part of us as a collective and as individuals are receiving precisely what we need. As the mother is, as this earth receives exactly what she needs to thrive and to prosper and to be abundant. So we set this as a protocol here tonight as we open our breaths and gently open our eyes and we look around and we feel this collective circle. So something came to me today, which was we bend and we bow. And we never waver, but that we stand tall together as a collective for this whole system living, presencing, wondrous planet, for her and our relations to the star nations, that we are that light. So with that, just want to welcome everyone here tonight. We always have a lot of fun and we always grow. We're recognizing that we're playing with grid lines, and we're still focusing on Imani's land. And for those who, and Tyhson and Charlie will add into this, for those who haven't been playing with us, who might be coming here for the first time, this land in Swananoa, we began, I believe this is the 4th week. And there was a lot of love that was needed. There was a lot of energy. There was a lot of deeper understanding of its interrelationship to Washington, D.C. and Plymouth, and I mean, so much more. And to these manifestation stations that are happening with Jose Akpu Muñoz around the country and around the world. And so we invite each one of you to just understand tonight that each one, wherever you're standing, is a part of this growing grid of love and aliveness. And that land, as far as I know, that's the first time that gong came out. And this land is just singing now in ways that 4 weeks ago, it was still calling for so much attention. So with that, I pass it over to Tyhson. And Charlie, if you want to bring in your voice, and we'll let Imani just share any new, always checking in to see what's the new emerging frequencies of that land. And we're now in the peace chamber. She's got us inside the peace chamber with her. And we'll just take from there. And then we'll invite all of you to bring your voice. Where's your watershed? What's your mountain? And what's moving in you? So with that, seeing that beautiful fire lit at Kate's, I pass it over to Tyhson.
Thank you, Shelley. And I'm going to pass it right over to Imani because I'm really excited to know what is the voice of the land? What's been happening there in the last week?
Right.
The voice of the land is I have given the chamber a deep clean in this last week, which is something that I've been wanting to do, but I haven't really felt the energy for. And so the chamber feels really good, and I've laid some grids with the skulls that are here, and we lit the central altar, which is about 2 feet down in the ground.
Wow.
So this is the altar. There's some skulls in the bottom, and then on the next layer on the ground, there's 4 skulls, actually 6 skulls. So I guess a really huge thing that's happening is that some doors are opening for me around a house. And so my neighbor, there's a person who lives on that land who wants to buy an acre of land in this cove, and he approached me, and he has amazing skills he builds highways and works with heavy equipment and is a builder and a plumber and an electrician and has people in the he doesn't have his license for electrician, but has connections with people who are licensed. So basically they have provided an opportunity for me to go into serious discussion. We're starting tomorrow around an exchange of land for helping to build a house for me.
Wow.
And the vision that I keep having is I don't really want to live alone. You know, I'm 60 years old. I don't have a partner. My kids live a couple hours away to Massachusetts. And so I've wanted to have multiple people living on this land. And so there's short term and long term. And, you know, when I think about the person who can really help make that happen, this person has most of those skills. So it's pretty phenomenal.
Well, that's really exciting. Are you building on which piece of land? On the original where the house is, or on this land?
On this land at the chamber. I'm not where the house was will be gardens and community space, or I'll bring in some kind of mobile home or something like that.
That feels right. Well,
Yeah.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
I think the cleanup is the same thing that's happening in my life, is literally a cleanup from the top to the bottom. I sort of describe it as standing on quicksand and everything is dissipating around me, and at the same time everything is coming in. So sort of like the bottom of the tube torus is dumping everything, and everything's getting cleaned up, but the energy coming back in through the top. So it's new possibilities and new seeding. So it's, one part is like letting go of everything to allow everything new to come in. So I'm excited for you. It sounds like that frequency is exactly what we're reading in the stars, so to speak. This is the transformation, the giant change that's coming to us at this gateway, this Lion's Gateway. So it feels absolutely right. So that's exciting. I'm done.
I did send some images. I don't know if you got, it was kind of late. And I think that those are interesting to look at because of the image that comes forward through those drone photographs. And I thought about bringing them in early, but I decided to wait and bring them in later.
Yeah, I haven't seen them yet. I'll go look for them. They're in an email, are they?
Yeah. I was wondering if Shelley might be able to, at some point, pull them up and share them with I don't have that skill, but yeah, I sent them to.
Yeah, we'll bring them up in a few minutes. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'd just like to say, I thought I was done, but I'd just like to say, I don't know if this is the right expression, but in working on your property and with help of understanding deeper what Charlie's talking about, of ley lines and energy lines and the sacred triangle in the landscape, things in my life have exploded with literally a brand new book coming through and constant downloads. I was in a class this afternoon and he said, well, where do I read this book? And I'm saying, it's coming through me right now. The book has never been written, and I don't know where this has ever been said before. So I just really want to honor the fact of working with this land has opened up a flood of new information that's totally exciting and yeah, and very expansive. So I thank you for bringing this to the group. It certainly ignited me. That's the word I would use, ignited me. So thank you.
That's so beautiful. Yeah, the land really has a calling to do that with the people, in my understanding. I'm glad to hear that is true for you, Tyhson.
So Amani, it would be really great just to give a quick little, again, just for people that are joining us new, just from whence you came and till now, just just a droplet in this ocean so people can understand the power of this experience. And then I'm going to go pull up, I'll pull up the photographs, but we want to give people a chance to introduce themselves and, what are they delighting in this experience that we're playing. Radical Earth Heart Resonance is really has its own voice. And yeah, so just if you could drop in, and then I think Charlie would be really beautiful for you to another droplet in this ocean of love and connection. And then we'll open it up to everyone.
Another drop in the ocean of connection. Wow, powerful. Thank you, and bless you all for appearing tonight and joining with us. The joy to participate in this manner with people that are not necessarily part of our original group of the Sacred Evolutionary Dowsing Consortium. And so we share with you some of what we do, knowing that each of you will come away from me with a more inner knowledge about who you are and what you're capable of doing and being. And so this is how Mother Earth is speaking to all of us right now as to stewards and members of a group of beings whose hearts are in alignment with the raising of the frequencies, reconnecting the grid lines that have been broken and distorted, and reimplanting the original, not the necessarily the original blueprint, but the original concept of blueprint before it was distorted, so that it will manifest in its full, beautiful form and be taken off this sidetrack it's been on. So that's what I'm guided to share tonight. Web of light. So words as I came in here, web of light, dragon energy. I was guided to dragon Minia, who is a representation of the primordial dragon before our universe was created, who the dragons are definitely in alignment with us as we work on these lines. And for Imani, just before I came on, I pulled up the grid map that I've been working in, connecting you to Jerry and Jerry to Mount Shasta, etc. And there was 2 additions that came through me for another triangle, another triad, and one is Lake Titicaca, which is bordered by Bolivia and Peru, and the other one, Palenque, Mexico. So if that feels right to you or feels right to everybody here, I will gladly add those to the grid work that we are creating. And with that, I'm complete for the moment. Thank you.
I'm very excited to see those grid lines, personally. So the short version of the long history of this place. 30 plus years ago, it was, there was a man by the name of Joseph Rael, beautiful painted arrow, who had a vision through Sundance, to build chambers that are dedicated to peace and clean water all around the world. This is one of those chambers. It's number 18 of 74 and is the one that most accurately represents his vision. The shape, the elliptical shape of the dome was in his vision. And so over the years, it had community and it waned, and it had community and it waned, and it had community and it waned. And then I purchased the land 6+ years ago. So it's soon to be 7, actually. I guess it just passed 7 years ago. And 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, I had a house fire, and the year before that, I had a flood, and the year before that, there were other things, and the year before that, there were other things, and it was all really seemed to be connected to the amount of energies that are. This is a very, very powerful place, and I've been cleaning it up physically, emotionally, spiritually. There was standing water where I'm sitting when I came in here the first time, and I sat down and I played my handpan, and basically the message that I received was, if you can clean this place up, you can clean up the world. And I didn't take that specifically about me, it was about the we, because this place is very much about the collective. And so I, put down the elbow grease and the time and the effort to patch the holes and get the water out and dry it out and clean it and, take care of the land, and was just about to open the door and COVID arrived. So I met the good of the whole and learned about this, and I was like, you know what, I have a piece of land that is really, would, I think, really benefit. And Shelley caught it, and I was like, yes, please. So that was how I got here, and feels enough.
Okay, so I guess I have to learn to be more clear. So just from the time we began, just a quick, like when I met you, there was a lot going on inside of you. There was a feeling of just to give people a sense of the shift that has happened on this land. Like here we are today playing that gong and seeing you in your full, beautiful self, standing there. When I opened up the Zoom loving room, there you were in your full glory. And that was not the person that we brought in a month ago. And so just, I don't know if there's anything to be said about that, but the beauty that this experience has, has emerged since, I guess I'm talking for you, I suppose, but, but just the excitement of the pieces that have come through with, well, maybe just ending, something happened this week where when Kate was at the Sundance, this was a really beautiful piece, and I believe Charlie was there. Kate was at some land at the Sundance, and Jerry was in at her house in Williams, Oregon. And there was this whole connection with your land. Am I saying this correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't you finish that little bit because to me, that really brings us up to date. It really shows like this was an instantaneous across the country of these, let's just call them song lines, because it's what it actually feels like to me. It feels like it's a connection of the heart. It's a connection of the vibrational frequency, which is a tone and a tome and a melody. And on this one particular day, at the end of last week, I believe it was, or it might even be this weekend prior to this night, there was that magical happening. And to me, it was like a burst of light. It was a song that was sung to all of us. So would you just share that into the group, and then we're going to open it up for people.
Yeah, it was the day I received the handpan, which is the same scale as the hong, and so my life has been to sit behind the hong as a ceremonial musician, and the hong leads. And when the hong was eaten by the fire, there was a challenge. There was a gap in my life, and the experience that I've had personally within this group is that there's a bunch of people helping to manage the forces, and a bunch of eyes on what's going on, and a bunch of it's a collective experience. And so I am tremendously happier in the month that we've been working together. the physical, emotional, spiritual benefit is profound, and a part of the connection with Kate in that space is just the that I'm calling to heart right now is that it was an open fireplace, that was a place where people of all colors were welcome to come to the Sundance grounds, and perhaps Kate should step in and speak more about that. And all nations, and this is an all nations place. The people that gave me my assignments, quote unquote, from the elders, like they were all connected to these places.
Thank you. Woohoo. Go ahead, Kate.
I think it was, I was at a place called Matopaha, the Lakota call it. We know it as Bear Butte. It's just a gathering place for a long time. There was always springs there. And in recent history, what it's most famous for and where I came from was the Inipi place where Frank Foolscrow would had a Inipi where he would allow the white man, the black man, into his lodge, because he says these stones don't judge. How can I judge? And that it inspired the Ute, the grandmother Ute memory. Well, and furthermore, most times you'll just see a picture of the Black Hills and not me. I just kind of feel like I'm anchor for whatever work you're doing, that I so hear you on the song lines, the restoration of the song lines. So I usually am here with my pendulum and just holding the space. Anyway, I was inspired to go to that place of Foolscrow yesterday and would be outside from a hilltop in the Black Hills, just hopefully, because I've just been witness to, no one else may hear your song but the Earth Mother, the Savior's right under our feet. I like to say that communication is so evident to us all. And so I know that the work we do within the bedrock and the grid lines and the plant kingdoms and the animal kingdoms reverberates out. And so that's my story, where I've been. It's just anchoring in the Black Hills, feeling like an anchor. I did have a dream, I had a dream about Imani one night, and it ended up, it was her birthday. It's kind of interesting how it was related to the bear medicine, but also, there's so much wisdom and emotional vibratory frequency healing that comes through Imani, and so selflessly, so shared governance model, I like to call it. Anyway, I just really always pray that her wisdom and words can be heard by all. I know I sure appreciate it. So it's, honored to sit in circle with all the people putting good energy for this chamber and its story.
Oh, and the last piece, Jerry's not with us, but the last piece of this is that from that place, where Jerry is at Pacifica, she knew there was some type of, I believe, a Sundance circle at some point, and she went out to find that. And what she felt, what she was sharing, I'm losing track of days because it was either today or yesterday. She was sharing that she really went out and listened to the land, and I think that's something we're going to do here tonight. Checking in with Charlie and Tyhson, and she realized that it was the rope. Oh yeah, that rope ceremony song. She started singing, and she realized that the ceremony had not been completed, and so she went to all directions and began singing that song. So there is this beautiful energy that's happening, and I feel like after everyone kind of introduces themselves or brings forward what is moving in them right now and I'll check in with Tyhson and Charlie, is first check, is there any more work to be done on that land? What is it asking from us? And if so, to again come into some type of group protocol, which we've played a lot with inside of the consortium, the Dowsing consortium, and weave each one of your lands into that space and to bring that song out, that harmonic, that symphonic song, and let it reverberate. So with that, just want to check in with you, Charlie and Tyhson. Are you look at them, they're just like writing away. It's amazing. I don't know what we're gonna do with these guys.
On the bus.
Somebody has to be the scribe.
Head up,
This is
pick
it. I
it up, would you please?
added 2 lines to the grid while you're all talking. So we are now hooked up to Lake Titicaca and Palenque. So we're live, and I would like to do a protocol for that at some point before.
Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna tell you your microphone. We're still having trouble with your sound a little bit, but Tice, do you want to add anything in?
So Charlie, maybe you can reboot your modem at some point. I think that might help. Yeah, I just want to say that in the work that we've been working in the Sacred Valley, and we've been connecting it to Shasta. So we're on the same grid, creating triangles in the landscape between the Sacred Mountain here and what's happening in Cusco and the Sacred Valley of the Inca Empire. And so that's been really quite exciting. So I guess what I'm saying is that by working with Amani's Lamb, I would say that it's like a nexus. It's like radiating lines out that by freeing that point on the landscape is activated so many other points. And since working there, we've been guided to work many places. So I'll just use an example. We were led to work on Calgary in Alberta, which is where the oil sands are and where there's a lot of suffering going on because of the crash in the economy. And we went to the top of the tower in Calgary and did a clearing energetically as a group. And 30 minutes later, the largest storm that known lately went through, and it was as high as Mount Everest, passed through Calgary with a lightning and a cyclone that didn't touch the ground. So I know this stuff is powerful, and I know that it works. And when I say it works, I mean it literally cleans up the historic timelines too. So when you create a Merkaba in the landscape like we've been doing, you get to go through the history of the landscape and clean it all the way up since the time of its creation, all the way to the present time. So I find this work really exciting, and this has all really been birthed, this new awareness for me, by working with this particular piece of land. So it's like the multiplier effect is amazing, right? So it's a nexus point that connects us and helps us learn how to work with lands everywhere on the planet to release the trauma and bring about what I would call the new earth. And with that, I'm complete.
Thank you, Tyhson. So let's just open it up, and Tyhson, just come back in and just tell people where your land is. I think you said in the beginning, actually.
Yeah, I live halfway between Calgary and Vancouver in the interior of British Columbia on the west coast of North America. I'm part of the parasympathetic nervous system for North America. So the mountain here is Mount Ida, and if you go south, it goes Mount Washington, Mount Ida, Mount Hood, Mount Shasta. So we're all part of that chain. And it's Mount Ida is Ida and Pengali. So we're part of the parasympathetic nervous system of the chakras of North America, which is the Rocky Mountains. And so we have a role of clearing the feminine divine channel for the Kundalini of North America to rise up through the Rocky Mountains from the tip of the turtle's tail, which is the bottom of Mexico or of Central America, all the way up through Alaska. And if you look at it, it does look like a turtle. So it's called Turtle Islands to the Iroquois and First Nations people of the East Coast. I'm also part of what you would call the Western Gateway. And just to give you These guys wanted to say hello. This is Serpent Rainbow Joe. He's divine masculine, and this is Cosmos,
Nice.
and she is the divine feminine. And she's from the Mayan lands, and she's Black Jade. So, the light in the dark want to come and play tonight. So, I'm done.
Oh my God. Well, we lost Mari. Mari, we love you. And she had to go. And wow, I hope we're not going to be tested on where you live. We'll be in trouble. So let's just open it up to everyone and jump in. And unlike Tyhson, how about 1 to 2 minutes and share your mountain or your watershed and just what's delighting you in terms of being here, being present. Tell us a little bit about your land.
I don't need to go first, but I just wanted to thank Tyhson for that description of everything, because I learned more than I've known in the 5 years or whatever that I've known you. So I really appreciated it, that description about the whole chakra line in the mountain. So anyway, thank you, Tyhson.
Well, you might as well just go. You're right there.
Okay. Currently, I'm sorry if it's a little noisy. I am sitting in a park, but I'm in Newberry Park, Thousand Oaks, and I'm right next to a loud street. So I will definitely keep muted. My name is Judy Gabriel, and I live right along the Pacific Ocean, just real close to the beach. And so the waterway I wanted to bring in was the Pacific Ocean, but also this last week, why I couldn't be on our call last Tuesday, as I was preparing for an event that I did on Sunday that was at the top of Latigo Canyon, which is in Malibu. And it's really high up on a hill. I could send a picture for the group. And this mansion was, the whole canyon was burnt 2 years ago. And the house next door was totally decimated and gone, and every tree in these canyons in the whole area were burnt. But this house is made of marble. The floor, the deck, the walls, everything. The whole thing is like this huge 3-story, huge vaulted ceilings, all marble. And so it survived. And this gentleman bought it just 2 months ago, and he's very prominent in the Muslim community. He's on the board of directors of the top national organization. And so there was a group that coordinated this this event. And the reason I bring that in is it was very much international, multicultural, and lots of things came up. And it was so tied to the land. And so I really feel like this point up there on this hill could really use some help. I tried. I had several people that were with me, and we made a lot of good progress, but it felt tied to many, many things. So anyway, that was part of my week. And Shelley, I thought of you because Tuesday night I had a heart incident and spent Wednesday in ER doing all the tests, and everything is fine. I really think that it was a heart expansion. Like I really got, when it was all happening, like it was like 8 minutes of like severe pain, and I kept getting, this is about expansion. This is about stepping in to the big and not being small. And but it was big. It was definitely an eye opener. So it's been a very big week. I don't know if it's all tied to a property, Amani, but I'm grateful because it's been lots of good lessons, and I'm so grateful to be here with you all. And this is what we're doing. We're opening the heart resonance, and sometimes we have a little resistance. So if we're resisting, we might have a little stretching pain. So I'm opening with ease and grace. So with that expansion and love, I am complete.
Just pop in.
Aloha, I'm Dana. Not sure what to say first. I've what happened to my video? Sorry. Just a sec. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Let's try that again. There I am. I don't know what to say. I'm having a strange thing going on with my camera. Hi. I've worked with the heart for many years. I used to work on the research team at the Heart Math Institute. That was a big part of my life. I still teach that work. I've been involved in the evolution of consciousness for many years, for like 25 years now, and also the integration of science and spirituality. And as I shared in a few other groups that some of you were part of, I've had a long-standing interest in water and understanding water more from what I call an energetic and multidimensional perspective. And most recently, I've been really enlivening that long-standing passion and connecting with others who are also interested in water from that level, and deepening our understanding of water as a multidimensional communicator. So that's one interest that I bring here. I'm in Henderson, Nevada at the moment, near Las Vegas. I don't live here permanently. I actually haven't had one permanent home over the last 3 years. I'm connected to many places on Earth and don't consider myself from any one particular place. The Big Island of Hawaii was my last, quote, permanent home, and I do feel connected to the Big Island on a spiritual level. That feels like a spiritual home for me, more so than where I am now, but I'm just here for a time. And so I guess even though I don't feel very deeply rooted in Henderson, Nevada, Lake Mead is nearby, Mount Charleston is nearby. And as far as Hawaii, I connect a lot to the waters of Kealakekua Bay and Honaunau Bay and Ho'okena. Those are my ocean homes. I'm really an ocean being. The ocean is my home here on Earth. So I'm very curious about how you harmonize these earth lines and restore these earth grids. I'm curious how you do that. It's fascinating. So I'd like to learn about that. And recently I saw a presentation that was part of Humanity Rising on a group in Europe that is doing a similar thing, like working with healing the earth and different places, and almost like looking at different places as acupuncture points on the earth and doing healing. And I was very fascinated by that. It was very, very interesting to me. And so I'm curious what this group does as well, and learning about that.
Thank you for being with us. Beautiful. I guess I can respond to that a little bit. I mean, I'm feeling like, we're here as a listening field, and when we started the connection field, I don't even know, like 4 or 5 months ago, I don't know how long ago it was anymore. There was just this light inspiration to, it was really light. In fact, actually, I was going like, no, I can't do anything more. I don't want to do anything more. So I called Tyhson and said, hey, do you want to do this? Because I just couldn't do it by myself because I've got so much going on. And the consortium has been going on since 2015. And usually there's, once or twice a year is usually this turnover for new people to come in and just really weave wisdom, it began with the understanding of together we're greater than the sum of our parts. And it was just an invitation to planetary healers, people who, wanted to be, and dowsers. And if you didn't dowse, we invited you to come in and to learn, to actually have a session with myself before coming in, so you could have, understand the languaging and what we were doing. And I know I haven't done this. I promised a lot of people to have, or some people to have this mini booklet from that I wrote from my experiences of teaching dowsing. And so, Dana, if you put your email in, I'll make sure it goes out tonight to everyone who's been waiting. I've just been involved with the connection field, but right now, what's been happening is Tyhson and Charlie and myself have, and a few others are writing the Sacred Evolutionary Dowsing Consortium book. And so there hasn't been that place to jump in, but as I'm listening, even tonight, I was asking, I guess this feels really important, are we complete with Amani's land as a collective? And that's something that I want people to, we're going to check in before we end this tonight. And I'm getting my answer, but also what I'm bringing forth is it feels like there's something, and maybe within the connection field, where we can go into more deeply some of the work that we've done and invite new people to be part of this consortium. And I don't know what that's going to look like, but I'm listening, and we're listening. So thank you for bringing that up, your curiosity, because that's what drives us, right? It's what drives us is when somebody's really feeling, or the land is calling. So yeah, with that, thank you. And let's just keep going here. Go ahead, jump in, Lynn, if you want. And we will come back, we'll spiral back around.
I'm stirred by what Dana just shared, and I'm stirred by Amani in the chamber. I'm very stirred, and I saw it in the background the first time you lit the fire. I feel maybe it wasn't the first time, but there was a fire outside where you were bringing the fire in, and I just want to thank all of you as dowsers. I did a lot of dowsing and helping with feng shui back in 20 years ago. So it's just fun to come full circle and play, but in Warwick, New York. And I said to Amani, I called her last week because she was on a call and I was driving and I couldn't be on the fire. And Painted Arrow, when I was in, I left the meeting today because I was looking for my journal and I couldn't find it, but this came in about the Hebrides. I was in Scotland at Findhorn, and this being came to me, and he kept coming to me every day, called Painted Arrow. It was very strong, and it was like I kept drawing him, and then I asked about him in the community, and they said, "Oh, we think we heard about him." And then Amani brought him up just a couple weeks ago. Like I hadn't heard him, but in my journal, I've got to find the journal. I felt like that was a really tender spot for me. And I don't know what that, I just know that when I was in Scotland, the chambers were calling me, and I had a lot of different vision work with Eileen Caddy, and she said it would be realized, some of the work that I was doing there, and Michio Kushi said it would be realized. So there was a lot of harmonic toning and understanding of tones and vibrational toning, that people would come together and realize that the harmonic tones would make oneness. And so for me, there's this land connection to this Painted Arrow relationship, and I'm not sure what it is. I'm just opening to it. I'm anxious to find the journals and see what I wrote at that point. I'll find them. But what it links me to is the land here where I am. I'm at Mount Tamalpais, and she's the sleeping lady, and I feel like that's what the Resonance Council is, and what you've all been doing for me is just letting me be who I am and opening my heart to be safe enough to be who I am with all of you. And the sleeping ladies here and Mount Tamalpais, and it basically what you were just saying, Tyhson, about the great turtle. Mount Tamalpais is the holy right eye of the great turtle, and many tribes have legends that we all live in the back of the great turtle, which I grew up on Turtle Island outside of Maine, Penobscot Bay, and so the turtle was very present to me my whole adult life. I mean, my whole childhood. So the holy right eye, they called it. And the left eye is in Mount Diablo, but it's interesting just to bring up the mounds and the hidden places. And I'm trained in the Delaware Nation. I've got blood in the Abenaki Penobscot Nation. And, you know, working with the elders and doing lodge and doing ceremony for 10 years. I was only in council for 10 years. The presence of the mounds at this time are really, really significant because I think they held the food. And during these ideas of pandemic or the ideas of what we're up against energetically, I feel like this is when those sacred mounds are being connected and reconnected and relinked and re-entertained. And I think Charlie and Tyhson and Shelley, I think the three of you doing the dowsing around all of that is really significant. I'd love to learn more as well. But I think energetically, I've been around some really strong dowsers in New York State and really powerful medicine people. And, you know, these times have been given to me as the keepers, as I think Amani said, you know, the elders have given me the gifts, and the land opens us to the gifts. And those gifts are the sacred heart of community and connection now for me. And that sacred heart really opens me to be home with you all. And I'm really happy about that. I'm really, really thrilled. So thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. I could go on and on and on about the multiple, multi-layered connections in my life from what you just said from 1975 all the way through to the present, but I won't bother you with the details, but we do need to have a conversation because I am part of the Turtle tribe and I've been carrying the wisdom of Turtle Island since 1972. So, and I speak of that and talk of that. So that's my indigenous connection to this ancient landscape and the ancient legend of we all live in the back of an ancient turtle. So lots to share.
So I have a message based on that conversation, and I had a vision in a medicine ceremony, and the end result of the message was the vision was a one-eyed biker boy turtle. And so there was a huge amount of grief in my experience, and the rainbow was still there. And the message was, you are able to access the heart of the turtle because you remember the heart. So that feels very significant. It's how to help modern people remember the heart. One-eyed biker boy, badass on the street, into this, beautiful, turtle thing. Yeah, so like that.
Go. Who hasn't popped in yet wants to bring their voice to the circle?
Hello,
And let's
everyone.
keep it for about a minute so that we can do a little bit of work. Let's play.
Hello, everyone, and this is Claudia. I'm in Ontario, Canada. I figured I'd go next because I played in Ragged Lake this weekend for about 2 hours with a big snapping turtle. We stopped swimming really shortly after he chased us out of the lake, but we did hang out around the edge with him. So I'm in Ontario. Like I said, I'm about 45 minutes from Niagara Falls and about 45 minutes an hour from Toronto. So the closest water to me is Lake Ontario. It's about 5 minutes down the street. Niagara Falls is dear to my heart. A lot of energy, a lot of power, some really cool myths and stories there. And the heart that's close to my land as well is 42 acres up north in a town called Cohill, just south of Bancroft. We're right on the Canadian Shield. Lots of beautiful lakes. Like I said, I was at Ragged Lake this weekend. Beautiful lakes. We have a lot of natural springs on the land. I played with dowsing a little bit when I was young and not a lot. I saw your gatherings for the last and participated the last couple of weeks because I'm really interested in tapping into some of the natural springs that we have there. We are off grid and we are on a well system right now. We have a lot of water on the land, but I know that there's other springs there that we'd like to tap into as well. And I spend a couple of months a year. So, I mean, between half the time here in Hamilton, Steel City, and Cohill, I spend a couple of months a year in Guatemala around Lake Atitlan. So the lake there to me is very dear to my heart, and I do a lot of energy work with the indigenous community there. So thank you. That's
I will jump in right now. My given name is David Jeffrey Myers, and my medicine name is Strong Bear. Currently, I live in a little town called Carmichael, California, which is a suburb of Sacramento. So I know I'm near the Sacramento and the American rivers. I'm not real clear because I've only been up here about 3 years what mountain ranges I'm near, so I'm going to claim ignorance right now of that. Grew up in Chicago. I was in the Midwest until I graduated from college in '69. So I grew up near Lake Michigan. That was the waterway there. Dana, today, I was in a circle with Dana, and she referred us to this other site called the Conversation. So I took part in a couple of gatherings the other day, and there was an interesting man that came in. His name, he's not part of that circle, but his name is Robbie McKenzie, and he's written a book called, God, I forget what it's called, the Clarion Call. There's other names. But within that, and another brother there gave this image that's been kind of moving through me, and it's the image of an anthill, the community of an anthill, and how ants kind of work together in unison, and sometimes they communicate by the actual chemicals they drop on the ground, and as the ants go by, they get communication from that, and also as they cross paths, they also send signals that are non-verbal. So I'm saying that because I'm seeing all that we're talking about here in the context of being a really remarkable anthill, and how things are just kind of weaving and moving together, and there's all this excitement and scurrying about, and it's just really breathtaking. It's breathtaking that it's moving and creating and supplanting images that I can barely grasp, let alone grab onto, let alone know how I connect to them. But I know they're there, and there's some profound way that I'm connected to them by coming in here, and I kind of look forward to seeing how it all unfolds, and may the song and the dance continue. With that, I'm complete.
Thank you. Awesome. I'm getting something. Let's just do a quick check-in with Karen. Do you want to pop in? Just, I don't know if you want to pop in. Zoe, if you want to pop in, whoever. But let's just keep it to a minute because we're is there anything after us? I can't remember anymore. Okay, you guys pop in.
Chief Daryl Bob is after us.
Oh,
so.
right. Okay, perfect. Right. So we'll get going.
I'm Karen Frank. I was born in Detroit, so I began near Lake St. Clair between Lake Huron and Lake Erie, and spent a great deal of time on those lakes. We had a boat, and moved to New Jersey, Barnegat Bay, and down to Chesapeake Bay with boats, and then down to Florida, and right near the Indian River and the Atlantic Ocean. And now I'm in Arenal, Costa Rica, the watershed for Lake Arenal and Lake Cote also. And and this is in the Tiburon Mountains, north central Costa Rica. Lake Arenal is the largest lake in the country, and it is partially a hydro lake. I have been wondering for a while if the property I have here has any connection to Imani's property, and I finally remembered to send you, because of this today, just now, Shelley, the email from Peter Shampoo, who did a little bit of work on the area with some pictures and charts, and there's an attachment. So if it's of any interest, take a look and tell me if you see something, and if there could be a connection. I have been being led to locations all over the planet for the work that I'm here to do, and finding that many of them are lining up and creating patterns. So it's been an interesting journey. So thank you all. It's great to be here.
Thank you. Yeah. Anyone else who wants to jump in tonight before we play a little bit? Just bringing in Jess, who might be listening, but she's in Florida, on the east coast of Florida. Zoe is in LA. And Cheryl, did you want to pop in? Cheryl's been with us. Let's see if she comes in. Oh, there you are.
Hi. I was just came in a little late, but as usual, my radar gets dinged by you guys to look at the phone, and sure enough, there you are. I was just about ready to go out paddleboarding the confluence of 3 rivers at the head of the Turnagain Arm. It's called the Turnagain Arm because Captain Cook thought it would go out to the ocean, but there's actually 5 miles of mountains in the way. So, and then also Alaska has a sleeping lady. It's called Mount Susitna. And that's when I popped in, right when Lynn was speaking of all of the ancient lands. I feel as if Imani's land is on its trajectory. That's what I have to say about that. Thank you. Have a great day.
Perfect segue. Woo-hoo! So just how amazing. Let's just take a breath. Yes, Imani.
Okay.
Where you get your mail.
Where I go, the chamber is.
No. Where you get your mail. Wherever you get your mail. I'll explain right now since we're talking. So this is really beautiful and fun, and I've been asking, is the land complete? And I want you each, let's just play a little bit here, and I'm going to explain my part of it. So okay, Imani, we need oh yeah, you got your address. Perfect. Okay. So I was sitting here tonight just listening, as I usually do, listen prior to the call and go, okay, what's next? What are we coming together for? And that's really how the Dowsing Consortium was built. this evolutionary council of light that came through on the very first time we came together on the full moon of January 5th till now. And I was just asking the land, are you complete? Or, do we move on to someone else's land? What is the next step? And I think some of those pieces have come in, and I'm sure Tyhson and Charlie will add in their piece. So if you have pendulums or dowsing rods, my dowsing rods wanted to come here tonight. Find yourself, you can, if you know how, you can just ask, or you can just ask your body as a dowsing rod, does it feel complete at this point? And when I did, something came through. And, this has been a really powerful day. Well, since yesterday was the eagle, the Mayan day of the eagle, and today's the day of the condor. And when the two come together, they fly. And they're flying anyway. And that purification, that cleansing with the vision and the sight is very powerful. When we are clear channels of just an open channel. I'm thinking I'll just leave it at that. So what came through was this understanding that, really the land, we've been present for the land, and the land, it's just the love that just changes everything, and the focus and our bringing our loving attention to this land, along with, of course, some experience and wisdom around how to work with land. And tonight what came to me was that in the land's beneficence, we've gained so much from working with the Mandi's land. Her land has got a lot, but we've gained so much by coming together and really expanding into this vibrational channel. And what I was getting was that how beautiful it would be to gift the land back from each one of us that have participated in this part of Radical Earth Heart Resonance. And so I asked Imani to please put her address in the chat, and you can just save the chat by their 3 dots. You can just save the chat for yourself and get that address. And if you feel to connect more deeply with this land and the beneficence, giving back that reciprocity and gratitude, nothing gigantic. It could be just simply a stone, it could be anything, but something that comes to you that you can give back to that land, to bring to that land in connection of where you stand. It could be a river rock. It could be, I don't know. Imani loves plants. So in the guise of, this cycle of energy, just going to put that out to everyone. If you feel like, what can you give back to that land? And then maybe Imani will have the inspiration. Maybe she'll actually take each of these items and place them inside of that altar, that amazing altar, to be held, to really support that which we've come to do, all of it. The land called all of us. And this is really part of the beauty of this energetic loop of love, infinity loop of love. So that's what was coming to me. And I ask you to just breathe with that. And I thank those that have shown up that are wanting more. And so just let's put this out. Let's just take a moment. And if you would like, just in your own way, and I think next week, is my sense is we take a good amount of time and just start teaching dowsing. Why not? For those who are on the call, I will get this out tonight. I will not go to bed without getting that booklet out, because that's my gift to you for saying yes and showing up. And we'll weave our wisdom, because, I've been taught my way, Tyhson has his way of teaching, and you all have your wisdom, and together we create exponentially more than the sum of our parts. So with that, just invite you, let's just take a moment and really feel and open to being a trans receiver of light and love. And Tyhson and Charlie, you can add to this. I'll just start. And let's bring our awareness about 1.5 feet above our heads. And I just particularly, it's this place for me, some people know it as a soul star. For me, what came to me was the J spot. That, yeah, we have a G spot. And in humor, this is what was gifted to me, the J spot, the joy point, where we just open to receive these light frequencies, just to become clear conduits, breathing and open, and asking for any information for the highest good of all, for Amani's land and our connection to it. Is there anything else beside what just came to me? Is there anything else that wants to be brought forward? We just acknowledge this land's relationship to the stars, to the cosmos, to the bare medicine that has come more than once to this land, but specifically once when we began. And we call to the elementals and earth diva of this land to use us. And we feel our feet and this frequency of golden light moving through us and down into the earth. First, where we stand, honoring the land that we're standing on, and it's through the water, through the light connection. And we see this connection to Amani's land and even to Washington, D.C., just feeling the connection to Mount Shasta and each one of your places. And we hold this in reverence. And we invite your guides to playfully and lovingly show up, to inform us. Is there anything else? And has this land been set free? And has Amani been set free to really be that full expression of light and love? And therefore, in our connection to it, that we, unified as one whole, are experiencing the same, that momentum, that velocity. And that we can rest in the work that we've done. And truthfully, it's never over. There's always more. But we're just checking in tonight. Is there anything else? We just take a moment of silence. And also just bringing in, is there anything more that this land wants? Is wanting for itself?
Yes, a celebration with all of us there. It wants to be danced upon by us together.
So go ahead.
I was going to say the only thing that I got was just this sense that sometimes we tend to see like something that was created by man, the Peace Dome, as something separate. And what I was hearing was that the trees there and the entire land and its whole being is that energetic Peace Dome. Like it wants to be included in the whole of it, instead of us thinking like there's this separate, you know, the wall or the dome of the Peace Dome in some way is separate from the rest of the land. So and I know we don't, but I guess it was just like the trees and I was hearing like, we're also the Peace Dome, like, you know, like we're it too. And in that, then it felt complete, like that really the whole thing was back whole again, instead of it being separated by what man had done or what fire had done, and it's unified again. So anyway, thanks.
Yeah, just pop in.
Yeah, there are others layers that want to be spoken to. In the beginning, we talked about that there's a council of elders. I'm going to call it, so I'll talk from my perspective. There's a council of star elders that's gathered there for whatever reasons since the beginning of time. I don't have the words about other than the beginning of time. There's also the First Nations elders that I knew this was a sacred place and honored that. And they would like they'd like to speak to us. They have wisdom that they'd like to share. And this may be on the individual level, it may be on the collective level, it may be on the land level. I leave that for each one of you to discover what that means for you. But I know for me that the bigger story is that all of those sites, right, that we talked about, all 74 sacred sites want to be reconnected. Okay, so this is a bigger pattern. We've only barely touched the beginning of this, and so when I tune into the land and the energy and all of what I just talked about, where there's like twice as much power that wants to come flow through that land out through the grid of all the other sacred sites that it's connected to. So that's what I got. I'm complete.
Yeah, it feels like it's only the beginning, but it's cleared to go to that next step. It wasn't able or capable, right?
All systems green and go.
Yeah.
Okay, you can still talk. Her pendulum.
I'm sure, but I just can't see anyone. Yeah, so I was just feeling interesting, you know, that you said Monty gave address, because I was feeling the need to send a few things that way. And yeah, my pendulum says we're not done yet either. So. Oh, I'm getting a couple people popping back on my screen, but I'm gonna stay off video thinking I'll have better bandwidth.
Let's keep going because Chief Daryl Bob will pop in at some point here.
I was getting, again, we're not finished, but what I was being led to do, because I was told I had a message, but I can't quite get the message yet. But I was told to pull up the map. So I went to Google Maps. And as I mentioned, I've been being led to different locations all over the planet. I put in your address, Amani, and it's a straight angle line to an area I was being led to also in North Carolina. And I always know there's triangulations when I'm being led to things, so it's very interesting. So I'll have to see where this leads and when I can get the message, what it is. So thank you.
Anybody else? Char? Charlie? Oh, there you are.
I don't know if you can hear me from this computer.
Yeah, it's really clear.
I've got signal, I get signal problems. So anyway, so I know you are bringing everybody in to focus on the land. And I believe there still is more work. I'm not so sure what it is, but the energy is building. And it's a contributed effort of all of us to tap into that land and to honor that land and to bless that land and know that whatever is coming through us as for information, that it's sacred and that the land is speaking to you, and to honor that. And this is part of the work that we do. And just to add grid lines, it's they're important, but what's more important is for each of us to make the connection to the land. And the grid lines are basically just connecting the land to other sacred places. And so it's just like us coming into the connection field, we are connecting with each other. So it's basically, we, by doing this, are creating a human grid as well. And so I'll stop there. Thank you.
Charlie, as you were speaking, I love that, the human grid. It's perfect. What I was getting, what finally came through is it's about the water. There's a definite part of working with the water. Like we've worked with the land, we've worked inside the dome. It feels like there's something, the water's calling for us. So we bring that with us next week. And Imani, it's really funny. I downloaded those pictures. They didn't want to be shown tonight, but you're showing them. So I'll do that. And then we need to come to a close for this call. Hold on, let me see if I can spotlight what you, and that is, speak to us. It's hard to see.
Yeah.
We can't, Imani, you got to come closer to the mic. It's too much. It's not, we're not getting it.
Okay, if you put your email address into the chat, I will email it out to everybody. I've emailed it to a few. It's the roads and everything make it so that there's a woman who's lying on her side who has a twisted foot, and it's just like, it's incredible. My senses was exactly what Tyhson shared around working with this land. There's 74 other spaces that can get activated, and that as those activations breathe in and out of existence through our attention, that the capacity as planetary alchemistics, the capacity as planetary healers, the capacity as changing the future for ourselves means that we can change the future for all humanity. That's my understanding of this place, is that that's what it was all designed for. So thank you.
I love it. You know what I'm getting also? The 74 sites are 74 people where the land where they are, that there's something about that as well, that whatever sacred site they're connected to. And as we've been building this field, maybe we have, I don't know, 20 or 25 people that have been on this call that have been bringing their voices in. It just feels like there's something also about that. So I don't know how that goes, but I want to say we love you. And Imani, if you would just, Tyhson or Charlie, is there anything else? Because I don't see Chief Daryl Bob, but but
can I add one more thing, Shelley?
Yeah.
Isn't there 72 glyphs in the Mayan calendar?
You're talking to the wrong person, but we can find out.
I believe so. I had this vision of it as being, especially with the red dome in the center, as like the Mayan calendar going out in different, like a huge medicine wheel just going out from there into the glyphs of the people. And yeah, that's what I got. It's totally connected to a huge calendar.
Well, that would surprise us.
It's the Earth timepiece.
Beautiful.
Did you say it was 74 lots?
Yeah, what did you say?
Well, 74, 7 and 4 numerology is 11. That's a master number 11.
There you go.
And I think that there are 72 in physical form.
Oh.
I think there are 2 that are not in physical form.
Well, 72 would be a 9. That would be more of a completion.
Yeah, and this is number 18. It's very much a 9.
All right, let's hold this in our heart, create a beautiful altar of the pieces that are happening here. You can always screenshot things. Let's just close this evening with just that we're gonna get is that the new one, the hangpan? Yeah. All right, awesome. So
Yeah.
we love you, Charlie. Do you want to give us your little blessing, and then let's have the drum and.
Well, I would like to just do the 4 pillars protocol to close this, because I want to activate those 2 lines that were added. So everybody just come into this space of stillness. Ti he moriora, I te ingua, te whaia, te tama, te matua, te wairua tapu. I te ingua, te tama, te matua, te whaia, te wairua tapu. I te ingua, te matua, te whaia, te tama, te wairua tapu.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
Blessings, everyone. Love you all. Thank you on Facebook. Don't forget, you can come join us anytime during the week, hour on the hour, with one link. And here in the connection field on Tuesday nights, we are Radical Earth Heart Resonance, and we invite you to come bring your voice and the land that you stand on and the river that surrounds you. So with that, we're not going to forget the trees and the air and everything else. And we thank the ancestors and all those that have participated here tonight with us. All light-bearing ancestors, light-bearing spirits, we thank you. And all of your guides, thank you for being here. We love you. We thank you. We respect you. And we are you. So with that, aho, a hui ho, A whole
Oh.
week. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Thank
Uh-huh.
you. We love you. And we'll come play next week. We'll start some dosing as well. So
Right,
Thank
everybody.
you, Shelley. Thank you, Amani. Bye, Tyson, Charlie, everybody.
Thank you.
Beautiful week.
Bless you all.